no fear when there is things that need to be reviewed and also judged. Who shall appear but the critic? And so yes, not only are we also looking at the show Lex, we are also looking at the show that the Christian superhero show Bibleman. You're probably thinking like, say what? What? Well, this is a show that had actually came out in like in the late 90s. You know, that would also be, that was a, you know, show that was geared towards kids that would, you know, be in the same veins of Veggie Tales in a way. And yeah. But if I was to describe it anyway, basically Power Rangers and the Adam West Batman dished in with a bit of realism.
God's word is truth, Decepto. The Bible tells me in James chapter 4, verse 7, that if you resist the devil, he will run from you. And God's word never comes back void. You can't win, Decepto.
That sounds great, doesn't it? That sounds great. But we're actually going to be looking at the very first episode of the show called, basically an adventure show, called The Bibleman Show, The Big Book, from 1995. And what actually happened in this episode? Well, what happened in this episode was a group of kids are basically having to perform a show, like a musical show, for a local community. And they're a bit nervous about it.
Are you guys nuts? Number one, Bibleman promised that he would be here. Number two, people would like to see a great variety show.
And number three, we're in real trouble, aren't we?
And so basically along came the superhero of this show, Bibleman!
Well, Nikki, it looks as though you may have bitten off a little more than you can chew.
Boy, you can say that again.
And honestly, I kind of like this episode, this show. I think it's kind of fun. One thing that that the show does is, in a way, tries to like tell relatable stories. But in this one, basically it's just talking about the introduction of the characters and all that. So the thing about this episode is mostly it's just, kids getting nervous about wanting to perform and not sure they're ready. Which, growing up, when you're having to perform and all that, you're feeling say, do I got this? And then sometimes you always need that someone that shoulder says, you got this!
Good. Why don't you try it again? Just keep up the hard work, have faith, and leave the rest to God.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
And at the same time, I'm gonna be honest, at the first time I watched this, I was bored as could be, but I was so drained. But then when you get the charm of it, you get oh, okay. Because although there is some moments of Bibleman being a superhero, fighting villains and the such.
There was one time in particular.
But it's mostly the first one. It's mostly a flashback. This was pretty great. But I will say that the acting from the kids in this episode are pretty alright. It's almost in the vein of you're watching a Sesame Street with kids. In a way. I do have to say that the musical moments are just okay, alright. The thing that makes you feel like, say, when you're watching it, especially, like, say, if you're, like, you know, especially since kids are coming to see the, you know, the show that these kids are performing on, and I'm thinking, like, say, as a kid watching other kids perform a show, I'd be like, say, wait, this is what I spent one whole dollar on to see for admission? And I'd be thinking, like, say, you ripped me off. That's my only allowance for the week. And I don't know, man. It's entertaining. But I mean, all the actors for the show, they do a good job when it comes to the music and all that. Does like say the like, since, you know, this is a religious show, does it talk down to you? No, I don't think it's preachy. I feel like, say, the show is, you know, it has its heart in the right place. At least that's how I see it. But then again, it's not the first episode yet. It's just talking about, like, having confidence in oneself. So that's what it's trying to mostly, you know, say. But, oh, and as always, our good friend, Bibleman, you know, he ends the show anyway with a Bible quote.
Remember to read the book, the Bible, God's Word, and you'll never go wrong.
I don't know, man. I think this show is charming. I like it. See you next time.